up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be discussing on what matters in life. Okay, focusing on the little things that matter in life. We get so distracted in life, I guess, to where our minds want to do this or do that or better ourselves here or be slackative in here and so on. But anyway, I want to discuss on the kind of the key points of how our brain works around these certain elements, and it can be very distractive, I guess, as far as the way we go to bed or the way we wake up the next day and what we're going to do for the day. How's our mindset focused and replenished, so to speak. So it's very important to have I guess, a rejuvenation type of atmosphere to get you guys focused on what really matters. They're very, very important topics to discuss on, but I want to go ahead and just touch on the focusing on what matters in life. Okay, what do you want in life? What do you, what's your desires in life? What's your ambitions? I've asked it on Twitter, and it's kind of overwhelming the amount of the response we got, that people have, financial freedom. They want to better themselves for their family, their children, their kids. They want to, travel the world. They want to go see things, see places, do things, and to be able to enjoy life. I mean, life as a whole is very stressful in so many ways, and people focus on the negativity of life. And what's going on in today's economy right now with the whole coronavirus, people rioting and looting in the name of others, and things that are happening in today's world is it's wild. It's mind blowing. I've never been really into politics or anything, but I observe, I watch all sides just to to kind of weigh things out and look, how are people thinking? Where do they come up with this kind of thinking or these type of decisions? But what makes their life to want to do what they want to do for others? And my ambition is life is to helping others, see what I can do to further the life of somebody else. If I'm able to branch someone else's success by my story or my input, then I feel like I've been doing something that could be successful for somebody else. And I love that. I love the fact that seeing somebody growing from something that I could have helped with. So anytime a client tells me that they want to focus on things that matter most and stop wasting so much time, I ask them that question: if you can't tell me what you want in the distant future, they can at least tell me what they want right now. Okay, we always know what we want right now, but what do you want in the distant future? Some of you guys that don't know my story, I left home at 18 from a very conservative Amish Mennonite background, and we had no I had no social security, had no means of transportation. I had 400 bucks to my name. I was homeless for the first good 6 months of my life after I left home to find my way in this world. I was brought in that religion that you only go in this way or you're going to heaven. If you don't, you're going to hell, and God looks badly upon you, and all this other stuff. But I've let all that go. I've let that way of thinking completely, lose its set, so to speak, for me. So I've kind of progressed myself. I still profess to have a good faith with God, but it's not wrapped around that whole religious aspect, I guess, for me. But I respect anybody's opinion that they want to, believe that certain way. But it was definitely a different culture, I guess, and I'll call it a culture because it's a whole different way of living, and it's very basic. I mean, the worldliness of life outside of that it's just so evil. Apparently, when I left, it was a culture shock. Just to be out in the world and no longer being under the shelter ness of that culture. You're in culture shock. It's like, well, what do I do? I don't have a phone. I don't have a way of transportation. I don't have a job. I only got 400 bucks. What do I do with my life? It's a whole new journey. But that path has led me on some pretty crazy adventure, so to speak. And I've always been a risk taker. That's why you guys know my trading lifestyle is all about taking risk and capitalizing on the stock market and things of that nature. So taking those risks can be, that life-changing moment for something, okay, for someone. And so many people are so comfortable where they're at. They want their 9 to 5 job. They want to, get their paycheck every Friday. They want to have their health insurance. They want to have, all their bills paid on time, or it's a crazy culture, even in, today's society, that we live wrapped around how comfortable we can possibly get. Okay. And to me, I mean, I'm all about the comforts of life. Don't get me wrong. But in order to acquire the more comforts of life, I have to go out there and get it, so to speak. Okay. The luxuries of life, as you will. To have that financial freedom off the stock market, to have to be able to wake up every morning, go to my desk, and look for the hot stocks of the day and trade them, make money, capitalize on it, and call it a day. I mean, how much better can you get than that? It was a journey to get to that point. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of failures. I guess it took me a good 2 to 3 years before I found some consistency within my trading. But I did start a company when I was 21. Like I said, I left home when I was 18. I did start a company when I was 21 and made really well at it. But man, it was a struggle getting that thing off the ground, to where I had some consistency. But the focus, it took focus to make that happen. Those first many stages, I was so abstract, looking at this, oh, looking at that. You're crying squirrel at every corner. You're looking at this. It's like, oh man, there's greener pastures here. There's greener pastures there, without losing sight of really what you want. And so many of us lose sight of what we really want. And it takes that one-sided focus, so to speak, to just work through all the stumbling blocks to get there. And trust me, there's always going to be a lot of stumbling blocks. And in my experience, some of the best moments of my life have had the hardest or the most stumbling blocks to get through. Okay, there's a lot of them, so you gotta you gotta get through all the trial and error, as you will. And trading was a massive amount of trial and error. I didn't have a mentor that taught me to to avoid this pitfall, learn from this mistake, and do this pitfall. It literally, us in our human minds, we think we have it, we think we've got it, we think we can do this without anybody else's help, until we're slapped in the face a million times. And we'll eventually get there, but it may be a very beaten road, beaten path to finally get to that point to where you're like, okay, I finally have found my spot. Okay. And so many people give up. Okay. That's the sad part about it, as I hate seeing, people giving up when they're so close, or at least I feel like they're so close. Like I said, we all have our different learning curve to get to the process that we want to get to. And, to have that financial freedom is not easy. It's not easy to feel like I can literally buy anything I ever want. I'm happy with what I got. The luxuries of life doesn't, bother me, that, you can spend money to take care of this or take care of that. And it's a great feeling. So I'm just going to kind of cover a little bit of some topics I've got written down here to kind of go over with you guys, that hopefully you guys can want to accomplish your mission, your focus in life, what matters to you guys. While there's usually prepared for this question, they almost never ready up for the follow-up question. Then why don't you act like it, as far as focusing on the most thing that matters? They want to know what focus is now. They've got a rent bill due or a car payment due. They're only worried about the now instead of the future. So many people never plan for the future. Okay. The moment you start working your way out of planning for now, you can start planning for the future. And those small steps will eventually grow into bigger and bigger and bigger steps. So it's very important to, work yourself up to that long time, or that long-term longevity of life that can, it just takes a while to get there. So I'm not trying to shame them, but I mean the question sincerely. Why do things don't add value to your life? Almost 100% of the time, it's not because they're lazy or unfocused. In fact, most of the clients are the most ambitious and focused people in the world. They believe that the lack of discipline because they occasionally watch a movie on a plane instead of maybe reading a book, but they're actually missing the root cause. This describes you, someone who is ambitious, driven, and focused, yet can't seem to stop wasting time, you need to understand one thing about yourself. You're building your life in a way that will never make you happy. Okay. Got to build your life that's going to make you happy. Instead of focusing on now, you got to start focusing on further out, further out. A miserable day isn't the set price for a successful tomorrow. If you think this is the formula for happiness, your brain instinctively knows it isn't. That's why you waste time on indulgences. Your brain is desperate for something to cheer it up. What is the formula for happiness? Now, this can obviously be in different terms for many people, but I teach all my clients a tool I call the formula. It's a way to say, okay, you have all these amazing ambitions and long-term goals and expectations of how amazing that will make you feel. So why don't you just feel more that way today? So really, we know our brains think we need to get, that things are success or partners or respect or whatever to feel that way. But if you want, you just choose that now too. So celebrate your life today. Number one, no matter how much you might feel is lacking, spend time building up the gratitude and good feelings of what you do have. Okay. So be thankful for what you have. I'm very thankful every day, the many blessings that God has given me over the course of my life, and progressing through all those journeys, that stumbling blocks I had. I don't regret none of it. I mean, if I was to do it again, it'd be like, well, I would have never learned what I know now had I not gone through that. Okay. It's just part of the mission or the journey to finally get to where you want to get to. Number two, get excited about your long-term vision. Have you guys written your goals for your life? Do you have yourself a goals in mind that you want to see, and actually try to work towards it? Okay. So many people have, oh yeah, man, I want to have my house paid for. I want to have a fancy car. I want to, be able to travel the world, but they want all that, but they don't know, the long-term vision and focus and work towards that. Like, you have to work towards that if that's really what you want. Look forward in your life, perhaps like a movie, all the way to the ending, and see your grandest vision for your life. If you work hard enough for it, you want it, you vision it, you got to take the steps to work towards that. And like I said, the most ambitious people, it's not that they're lazy, it's just maybe they, not, dedicated. They want to take care of the now instead of working towards the future. So really feel it. Really, really feel it. Feel what it is to like for you to reach the most amazing goals of yours. And notice that just by thinking about it in your head, you can feel this way now. This is your goal. It's not out there. It's not the feeling of having it that matters. It's that feeling you get from creating this right now. There's nothing more exciting than, creating what you want for yourself. Okay. Nothing more exciting than that. And of course, my brain wanders and does this. It's like, okay, well, what would make me happy? What would make me more excited if I did this or did that? And you work towards that, and make it happen. Procrastination is a drug. I used to procrastinate all the time. It's like, man, the moment I quit procrastinating, I actually started focusing or working towards that goal, I actually would start accomplishing. And it's like, wow, this is not as hard as I thought it was. This is actually accomplishable. So infuse your joy into today. Look forward to even just the smallest actions you are taking today that move you towards your grandest vision, and infuse this feeling into the actions you're taking today and every day. Okay. I never feed off of negativity. The media, the news out there, it's very negative. Everything in this world going on is negative, and people feed off of negativity. And it's like a drug, like, oh, the world's coming to an end. This is happening. People are killing each other, and this is happening. I'm scared for my life. I'm blah, blah, blah. Be prepared. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Be prepared, but never feed off that negativity to make your day for today. Okay. The moment I quit just, getting rid of my negative friends, I no longer socialize with that anymore. You're just like, you're bringing me down. I need the strong mental capability of looking forward instead of backward, so to speak. And start focusing on what I want for myself instead of focusing on, the problems of life, focusing on the problems of life in a very negative light, every single day. The faster I get rid of those problems, the better I feel. Okay. If I've got my own stressful problems or something that I was going through, I would work on getting rid of them as fast as I could instead of just loathing on them and procrastinating. Oh, they're there. Well, I can't take care of it. But I'll just keep on, leaving it a problem. The longer I leave it a problem, maybe it will go away. Well, I hate to say it, but problems just don't go away. Okay. They stay there until you solve it. Okay. And that was the biggest thing for me, was becoming a problem solver. Okay. Master the problem solving situation, and you won't have problems. Okay. So when you've come to the point of yourself to focus on your life, fixing one problem at a time with one solution at a time, and you come to the day just like, man, I've got no problems. I've got nothing to be negative about. I've got everything to be happy about. I'm content. I'm blessed. You know, I've overcome all these, obstacles that were a problem in the past, but you know what? I fixed all that with solutions, and now I can focus in your body is, rejuvenating, your mindset is clear. You can focus on more and more for better and better things for yourself. The formula on its own is incredibly powerful, changing how you feel and getting yourself to take that action that are consistent with what you want. But when you use it as a part of your system for focusing your time on what matters to you, that's when you really see the magic. So, 5-step process for focusing on what matters. Okay. We'll break things down a little bit more. The formula matters because in order to manifest success, you must be able to get yourself in the right state of mind for taking that action that drives results. Okay. You got to have that right state of mind in order to get the results. Yet, even if we get ourselves beyond any resistance, we're taking great actions. Often we find ourselves avoiding those tasks that truly matter to driving the success. So a hedge fund manager we met with was too busy running his team and managing the desk that he was failing to make time for the work that would truly drive results. While that might sound like a time management problem, really it's a problem of emotion. The bad feeling of doing work he found hard and scary was dictating his time. Here's how you get clear on what matters and align your time. Okay, so thing goes in trading so many times. It's kind of funny how life's emotions and your mindset plays so much into my style of trading in the stock market. When I've got so many people have a losing trade or a trade that just really hit it to the core on their portfolio, and driving things in a bad way, it dictates how their next trade's going to be, because they're so focused on the negative impact of what that last trade may have done. Okay, like I said, I solved the solution, I solved the problem, I got rid of the bad trade, I refocused. That thing is no longer a negative impact to my account. I've established my new thought process, and now I can refocus on a new trade and move forward. Now, number one, start at night. Okay, this is a big thing. We it seems like my brain races the most at night. Okay, so however you want your day to start the night before, of course, it's down to a bottle of wine at night you fill in the next day. But also, if you go to bed at night, imagining tomorrow being your most amazing day, well, then it more likely will be. So just imagine that for a moment before you go to sleep. Imagine you waking up using your day exactly how you like. Of course, in your wildest dreams, you might not want to be at work, but so long as you are, how do you see it going? Fantastically. Number two, bounce out of bed, getting moving. We've all had too many days where we laid in bed wishing we could just keep hitting the snooze button, but imagine how amazing it will be to wake up and bounce out of bed, not because you're some type of permagrin loony, but because whatever thoughts keep you feeding yourself, keep you more enjoying your day. Okay. If you're serious about focusing on what matters, bounce out of bed like a person intent on doing it. Okay. Um, I've, like I said, I used to be lazy. I used to, be very slackative in my way of thinking, but anymore, I bounce out of bed at 6:30 on the dot. I don't care. I'm ready to hit the day running. It keeps me going. It's not something. It's just a habit, I guess I've created for myself, because I'm excited to face every new day. Number three, get in touch with your why. This is a big thing, even in trading. So everyone talks about the power of why because, well, it's extremely powerful. Starting in the AM and during the day, you want to constantly remind yourself of what you're doing and why this matters to you. Why are you getting out of bed early? Why do you have these goals and ambitions in life? Well, there's more I want to do for myself. Have you found your why you're doing things a certain way? Okay, this can be another thing as well. So focus on your why, one continually progress at a time. Okay. Number four, set your clear goals. The night before bed, you saw yourself breezing through the day, feeling how you want, getting done the things that matter to you early in the day. You want to get clear and specific on what this means. I suggest that again, you visualize your day, seeing it play out as you imagine, and then every morning you lay out a schedule by key blocks of time, your goal, and stretch for what you want to achieve in that time frame. It's helpful here to also look back on yesterday and see where you could have improved. Really hone your skills here by asking the hard questions like, where did you waste time on things that didn't relate to your most important use of time? And see how today you're doing it differently. Okay. We only got 24 hours in a day, guys. Okay. So rationale what sections of time you want to do in the day. Okay. Write down the goals that you want to do today. Do you have do you want to lose weight, or you want to, focus on, you know, doing some gym time or something, doing some jogging, time for your kids, time for family, time for eating, time for some enjoyment in life, time for, focusing on your dream, your goals, your work, whatever it may be. You want to have a set time for each thing. You want to work on a schedule and get to that point to where it's all habits. Keeping a good amount of family time instead of, so focused on work or so focused on the negativities of life that may be dragging you down. You got to have that fuel to rejuvenate for the following day and keep honing for success in life. Number 5, infuse joy and absorb it. Okay. If you come back to where we start on the formula, you see whatever you're doing today isn't about your goals. It's not about your grand vision. It's not about your goals for today. It's just about one thing, your day. Okay. And what you are now doing right now, this minute of your day. So take that feeling, the amazing feeling of why you're doing what you're doing and how it feels to look back, having had an amazing day, and simply absorb in what you're doing. The future can be a lie, okay? You open up your eyes at the beginning of the day and close them at the end. The in-between is the only life you're going to know. Even in the future, you will only ever experience one day at a time, really one fleeting moment to moment. The future is a promise you tell yourself to justify today, but ask yourself, how do you feel using the formula that you're living? It's all right now, today. Now, okay, take control of those thoughts, okay? I spent most of my career stressed and frustrated, thinking ahead to the day when I could quit my job or feel free. Well, when I quit my job, I didn't work that way. Jumping from the bonfire into the forest fire, doing what I wanted, was way harder than anything I've ever done. And my mind simply wasn't up for the task. I wanted to write a book in my head. It sounded easy, almost a bit indulgent. I turned it to be the hardest thing I've ever done. For days, weeks, months, and eventually years, my stress and frustration went far beyond my ability to manage it. Those were far the hardest years of my life. I'm willing to let the overwhelming task beat me. I forced my mind to find a way through it. For the first time in my life, I was feeling unhappy, depressed, anxious, and fearful. I simply wanted to feel amazing every day. Already thinking I was an expert on getting what you want, I realized that I was missing a big piece of the puzzle. How do you keep taking powerful action when your mind isn't up for the task? How do you train yourself to feel great when those things you in your life keep dragging you back down? So many of us are victims to our minds, the thoughts in our heads constantly turning. Few of us feel how we want to feel each day. Tired, we use our daily upper caffeine. Stressed, we bring ourselves back down with alcohol, unable to stop that damn machine at night. We put out the lights with the sleeping aids. This is the best our society teaches us to do, but we can do better. Okay. The fact is, you can take complete control of your mind and thoughts. It's not easy. In fact, it's damn hard. It's taken me years of daily practice. I'm still far from perfect at it, but having gone deeper on the mind than is reasonable, hours of day of training, I found out enough of the map that I can see the rest of the territory. Step 1, start with the thoughts you want to think. Imagine you're in a dark room, fumbling around the wall for a light switch. Do you stop and reflect on how you came to be in this dark room? Do you analyze the process that led you to walk into a dark room without a flashlight or knowledge of exactly where the light switch is? No, you find the light switch and illuminate the room. So many of us want to get straight to the fixing. We want to break down the mental process that keep us stressed or awake at night. When we'd sleep better if we simply stop thinking about it and focus on the thoughts we do want. Ask yourself, how would I like to be thinking right now? Do I want to be stressed and frustrated or at ease? Do I want to be worried about this or that or feeling like it's under control? Then ask yourself, if I were in the state of mind, What thoughts would I be having? How would it feel to be thinking that way? Just role playing this in your mind, you'll get a state change. Your brain knows how to do it. And it's like tapping an icon. Your brain goes where you direct it. When you decide in the moment to focus on something positive or something pleasant, you're using your mind, your attention to direct the machine we call the brain. Step two, define the habits of who you want to be. Okay. Step one is difficult. There's no getting around it. Summoning the willpower to tell your mind, no, this is how I'm going to think right now. It's so small. It's no small feat. Okay. So doing that over and over again, day in, day out, is positively Herculean. That's why monks spend their lives separated from all the worldly agitations and surround themselves with people in an environment that is only conducive to conditioning that way of being. Okay, that's kind of how it was raised in Amish, where we had to have only that specific way of thinking. Few of us want to cut off the rest of the world just to train our minds, but you can create the habits and routines that will allow you to control your thoughts more easily and consistently. We live in such a day and age, guys, that electronics are at our disposal, TVs at our disposal, computers, phones, PlayStations, Xboxes, things of that nature. Everything is at our disposal to distract us. Okay. If you're constantly distracted with something you just want to have a brief moment of fun or a brief moment of time, that's all great and dandy, but it has its time and place. It should never be, you know, the full benefit of what you're trying to do in life. Okay. Just if you go through your life stumbling through all the negativities of life, frustrated, doing this and do that, oh well, it'll solve itself. I'm gonna go distract myself with something else. Okay. Distracting yourself isn't fixing the problem or working you towards what you want. It takes that focus. And so many people lack the focus to want to, change the direction from the distractions to the focus. So in the previous steps, you envision the way you want to think. Now envision the person who thinks this way all the time. If you're trying to banish insecurity or anxiety, envision a version of you who feels supremely confident a majority of the time. If you're trying to become a more mindful or zen person, imagine the person excuse me. Imagine the version of you who is unshakable and always at ease. What does this person's day look like? When they first wake up, how do they respond to grogginess, to the temptation to hit the snooze button? When they're in traffic, how do they respond to the delay in their day? A lot of road rage. That happens to a lot of people in traffic. When they're drawn into confrontation or conflict at work, how do they feel and respond? When they decide they're done for the day, how do they disconnect? Okay, we all have our ways of how we connect and then disconnect for the end of the day. Actually, imagine yourself going through a complete day as this person and record how they react to the outside stimulus. You will never have complete control over the external stimuli in your day, but you do control how you react. By doing this exercise, you're giving your brain a map showing it specifically how you want to be. When I'm confronted by an angry client, I will react this way. When I'm under an imposing deadline, I will think that way. These small daily habits aren't small at all. Just like 20 push-ups a day will condition your body. This is mental conditioning. Step 3, tap into your burning desire. Okay, none of this is easy. A common bit of drugstore psychology is the same. The hardest part is getting started, but that's BS. The hardest part is staying committed. Okay, hardest part is not getting started. I've had some weight loss journeys in my life already where I got started, lost weight, went back to the same old thing, and started gaining weight again. Tried to lose weight again. The hardest part is not just starting; it's literally staying committed to what you want in your life. Okay. So go to any gym on January 3rd, and I guarantee you it'll be overrun with people who are getting started with their resolution to get in shape this year. Go back to the same gym the first week of February, and most of them will be gone. That's sad, isn't it? Everybody's got this goal and this ambition, and they started it, but they weren't committed. Okay. So what do they get? They get a non-consistent result. And I see this so much in trading, guys. People, I got a lot of new people that come to the stock market and they come to the chat room, they come to my classes, like, okay, I want to make, double, triple my account next month. Can you turn my 10 grand into 100 grand in a month? It's like, well, if it was me trading it, there's a chance. But if it's you trading it, there's probably not a chance, you know? So I'm going to have to work with you, get on your focus, get on your ground, and try to work on you. But they're not committed. There's no commitment. They want to get started. They know how to get started. They get started, and then they lose sight of their focus of what they really want by being committed. They're not committed. It takes some serious commitment, and you have to go through all the trials and errors of it to finally get to the sweet spot and be like, man, I'm so glad I stayed focused. I'm so glad I stayed committed and kept working at it and working at it, working at it. Failures and failures, and kept overcoming the failures, solving the problems with a solution, overcoming it, working it, committed, and finally getting to that point of like, man, I'm so glad I did that. Had I just quit it and done something else, or done this, or cried squirrel over here, I've lost my focus. I've lost what I want for myself in life. Okay. It's a sad thing, but so many people are distracted. Anyone can get started. The world is full of people who registered businesses that never grew them. Okay. How many times? I've done this one. I'm a guilty one of this, guys. Okay. I've registered a lot of different businesses that I've started, but never grew them because in my early stages, guys, I was trying to find my place in the world, you know, leaving home at 18, trying to do this and trying to do that. I was doing all kinds of stuff, but never focused on one thing until I got to the point of like, okay, wait a minute. I got to start creating this business, and this business, and creating just this one business, focus on it, perfect it down to the core, and make something good out of it. And you know what I did? I worked at it, and I worked at it. I finally got it, and it made it happen. So who quit their jobs to start new lives and ended up in the same place? Okay. This can be a new thing too. I've seen this in trading. They quit their jobs and like, oh man, I'm going to full-time trader now. I think I've got it. Quit their job, and what do you know? They blow up their trading accounts, and now they're back trying to find a job. That's a common one too, surprisingly. Now, what's rare in this world are the people who stayed the course, who overcame the exhaustion and grind that success demands and changed their lives for the better. Winners aren't common. Okay, it's not very common for people to be winners. There's just not a lot of them out there. But all of them have one thing in common, and it's that burning desire. How strong, guys, is your burning desire? The Dalai Lama, potentially the most skilled human being on the planet at controlling his own mind, meditates 3 to 5 hours a day seriously. If you want to master this topic, you must tap into your burning desire, decide what you're willing to do in order to better manage the way you think and feel. At the very least, incorporate these 3 steps into your daily exercises. Number 1, every morning, take 10 minutes to ground yourself. Breathe slowly, deeply, focusing on the sensations in your body. Let yourself center in the moment. Think back to a time you felt exactly how you wanted and embrace that feeling now. Number 2, throughout your day, kill negative self-talk, okay? How many times do you negatively self-talk yourself, okay? Maybe something bad happened, or you stubbed your toe, or, you know, your wife yelled at you, or, you know, your boss yelled at you, or did something, or something happened, okay? Don't negative your self-talk. The root of anxiousness is often our internal dialogue, just as you would turn on a TV program that disturbed you. Realize that self-doubt is just a conversation you can end. Before you end your day, rehearse your success. Michael Phelps calls it putting in the videotape. Every night before bed, he took time to envision himself swimming and winning the gold medal. At night, imagine yourself waking up how you want to feel and having the most extraordinary day. Step 4, build your psychological toolkit. A Mercedes requires different parts and tools and expertise to work on them than, let's say, a Maybach. The same is true for each of us. The specifics of what motivates and challenges you are going to be different than what motivates and challenges me. On a day-to-day basis, you're going to come across a situation that constantly challenges your mental self-control, and you're going to need to find the tools that work for you in overcoming these hurdles. For example, there are 2 areas I struggle with for some time due to my belligerent mind, okay? The first was my inability to shake off maybe negative state. If something went wrong early in my day, often as simple as sitting down to write and nothing come out, it was hard for me to feel positive or act confidently for the rest of the day. Force a smile. The sensation of your muscles tensing to a smile, even a fake one, signals to your brain that it's time to be happy. Thrust your arms in the air. Any sudden burst of movement will release tension. Get your blood flowing, get your focus on the present. Motion creates emotion. Repeat a mantra. Something as simple as yeah or I'm killing it can work wonders by overriding your negative self-talk and letting you vocalize, similar to primal screaming. Deep exhale, okay? Let go of all that tension and relax. Really do this now. Just take a deep breath, let it all go millions of times during the day. The other area I struggled with was getting into a flow state. We have those moments where we're in the zone and absolutely killing it, but I struggled to get beyond the resistance that was holding me back from fully absorbing in what I was doing. Your situations are going to be different than mine, and the tools you need will vary accordingly. The best way to find the tools you need is to accumulate as much knowledge as possible. I guarantee you someone has developed a mental tool that you can tweak to your needs. You just need to find it. But what if I'm just an X type of person? I hear this all the time. Well, I'm just an anxious person. I'm just an insomniac. I'm just have a short attention span. No, you aren't just anything. Your mind is a supercomputer, the likes of which the highest, brightest humans of the world aren't even close to understanding it. If you're reading this article, you're influenced in an incredibly difficult language. You're capable of using an abstract network of information as electronic signals we call the internet. You learn things as an adolescent at the greatest minds in the world didn't know just 1 century ago. You don't think of the things as significant because everyone around you can say the same, but that just speaks to how incredibly powerful the human brain is. Your mind isn't just anything, in the same way that someone with a bad diet or poor physical health can get in shape with the right diet and exercise. You're capable of overcoming any prior conditioning so long as you're willing to do the work. Okay, being committed, just talked about a little bit ago. The first step to success and taking that control. In my Do What You Want, I start with a chapter called Starting With You. That's because no matter what you want, all success begins in your head. That requires taking control of your thinking. To be completely honest, some of you will be able to do this on your own, and others, well, you want to find someone to help you out. There's nothing wrong with that. Peer pressure kind of makes people do what they're like, man, I want you to hold me responsible for doing this. I couldn't have done this on my own, of course, but the task I set my mind was too hard, and I simply lacked the skills to do it. Even the best teachers in the world probably couldn't save me from my obsessive mind, but I owe my life to them because observing them taught me how to build my own solutions to tame it. No matter how you go after this topic, know with absolute certainty that you are in control. With practice, you can think and feel exactly how you choose, guys. Okay? Be committed. Don't lose sight of your focus. Work on what makes you the killer person that you are, and do it one step at a time. Anyway, guys, that's all I had for today's session. You guys can check out the links I'm going to post below, but if you guys want to trade live with us every trading day, I live stream every single day. If you got questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature, you guys can always hit me up in the comments section or even message me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter, so I have no problem trying to get back with you guys as best as possible. I'm always here for you. But yeah, check out the link below. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial. We got a 40% off going on in our chat room right now. But be happy to have you guys. And but like I said, you guys are killer. Stay strong. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you need to focus for yourself. Don't be distracted on today's elements, and work on yourself. Okay, and you guys can do it. I know you can. Anyway, that's all I have. You guys have a fantastic. Happy Father's Day and a wonderful weekend. Thank y'all.